Hey there, Be in Demand fans. It's Susan Day here from Mindful Arts Therapy Podcast. I had a coaching session with Laurie-Ann. Before our session, I had trouble getting my message across and making it clear and succinct. She helped me create a really fabulous catchphrase. You're listening to the Be in Demand podcast. Here's your host, Laurie-Ann Murabitu.
Are you ready to make the kind of impression that wows your audience, has them saying, that speaker really gets me, and wows the person who booked you? And they're thinking, they wrote this speech just for us. Today, I am sharing with you 3 tips to meet your audience where they are, because you need to know your audience. That's actually the title of this episode. So if you're ready to be the kind of speaker who does a little bit of homework to have their audience begging for more, then keep listening. Plus, there's a special surprise for you at the end. Let's get on to the show. Are you a coach, consultant, or service provider who's frustrated with the growth of your business? You're in the right place. I'm your host, Laurie-Ann Murabitu, and you're listening to Be in Demand, where I talk about how to leverage speaking opportunities to grow your business, get positioned as the expert, and monetize your expertise. Let's get on to the show. Well, thank you for joining me for this special episode. Although I probably say that all the episodes are pretty special because I just want to get this information out there to you. So I don't always share things on a personal note, but I just want to say that the speaking world is looking for you. And what I mean by that, you've probably heard me say that there are, on average, 20,000 speaking events that happen today. And it doesn't matter what day you're listening to this. And there'll be another 20,000 tomorrow and the day after and the day after. And I still think that number is very underestimated because in the past 4 years, speaking really has been redefined and stages has really been redefined as well. But that is the topic of past episodes. So I just want you to know that there is so much opportunity, and that 20,000 is the global number. Here in the US, approximately 7,500 speaking events are happening today and every day. That's on average 150 opportunities in each state, even though not every state is very even. And certainly there's not that many conferences and meetings in Alaska during January compared to Florida, Hawaii, California, where the warmer places are during the winter months. So what does that mean for you? That means you are doing a meeting planner a favor by reaching out to them. So stop looking at this as, oh, I'm intruding. I'm afraid of hearing a no. I don't think I have enough experience. Who wants to hear from me? Who would book me? Trust me, there are people out there that are looking for you and your area of expertise for their very audience. Start building those relationships with people and building those relationships with other speakers. That is a big reason why I host the monthly Speaker Circle community call. And you can learn more about that at speakandstandout.com/community. This is where I do a small training. You get to ask questions, and then you get to network with other speakers, other coaches, consultants, service providers, small business owners who are just like you, trying to build a business and sharing their message, their story, and their solutions by speaking. So that link will be down below. So let's just get started with knowing your audience. This makes one of the hugest differences with your speeches, with your reviews, with your testimonials. Because when you really understand your audience and you can insert that into your speech, I'm really not talking about writing an entirely different speech. I am talking about you insert little phrases, things that you learn about them, about this group, about the organization, about their mission from, I'm going to get more into that. How are you going to do that homework? But when you do that, I mean, the audience is sitting there like, she gets me. Wow, he knows me. And I will share with you some of my stories on how I've done this as well. But it really does make a difference. It's literally like the cherry on top of the whipped cream on that yummy ice cream sundae. Tip number 1, understanding your audience's needs and desires. You're going to get this information when you have your pre-event meeting. And there are a couple of meetings that you're probably having beforehand. And what I mean by that is you have your first meeting with whomever is trying to book you for their conference, their meeting, to speak at their monthly mastermind. You're going to have that conversation first to decide whether or not if this is a good fit for you and your topic and their audience, making sure that it's just a good fit. Like people are going to show up because they have this problem that you solve. They are interested in the topic that you are going to be talking about. And that all comes from asking really good questions. So once you decide, yes, this is a good fit, you would be sending the meeting planner a proposal. And your next step is that you want to have this pre-event meeting with them. So now you want to have this meeting with the meeting planners, with the committee, with whomever is trying to book you or whoever has booked you. And now you want to start asking questions like, so tell me what's going on with the group. What are some of their current problems? What made you decide to pick me to speak? Why is this topic needed now? And what problems are you seeing that most of the members or whether it's an association or a mastermind, what are they experiencing? And also another great question to ask is, when I'm done speaking, what's the desire that you would like to see happen? What's the result that you would like to see for your people, for your association, for your members? Gathering all that information. And if you can use some of their exact words in your presentation, even better. So this is what I mean by doing a little bit of homework. It really will go a long way. Tip number 2, you want to tailor your message to resonate with the pain points. From this meeting, you are going to get that information from the committee, from the team, from the coach who's hiring you for their mastermind. And this is a great way for you to customize your speech title and also customize your presentation. And this is something that I teach people inside In-Demand Signature Speech, where I teach clients like how to have a signature speech that is easy to customize and it requires minimal effort. And what that means is you get really good at delivering the same speech, but there is no reason why every audience has to feel like this is a canned speech. We want to make them feel like you wrote it just for them. So one of the tips that I will share with you outside of the program is using the name of the association, using the name of the coach who is running the mastermind, naming their industry. Little drops of that information go a very long way. Another way to tailor your message is also to use stories, not just your stories. Actually, as a matter of fact, I'm not even talking about your stories. I'm talking about stories from the corporation, from the association, maybe from a recent event that they had. Again, you're going to get these stories by doing some research. And I'm going to dive into a little bit more research in the third tip. But you're using stories. If you are speaking in a particular town, I did this once. I just happened to pick up the newspaper that morning and saw an article that was written about a high school basketball coach. And I read the story and I actually tied that in impromptu into my presentation because it fit so beautifully. But because there were so many people who lived in that area, they were like, oh, I know that man. I know that person that just got mentioned. Again, it's like that beautiful bow on a package. It just makes you look like you did your homework as a speaker. And these are all little things that you can do on the fly. Also, before you speak, your interactions with people, having conversations, asking them, what brings you here? How long have you worked for the company? How long have you been a member of this mastermind or this association? What do you love best? Naming people in a presentation. Yes, this takes a little bit of skill and it's impromptu, but being able to call people out, they feel like, wow, that person, the speaker mentioned me. That's like tons of kudo points, by the way. Tip number 3, research your audience to anticipate their questions. Now, this is where you are going to interview people. With my bigger corporate events, I will actually ask them if they can give me the names and email addresses and phone numbers, if possible, of 5 people who would represent the entire audience. And so I will spend some time, just like 30 minutes, talking with each of these people about what's going on in the company. What are some changes? How long have you worked here? I'm gathering stories. I'm gathering information. I'm learning how they speak about their product, their service within their culture. Again, using those acronyms and words and their mission just says that you did your homework to make this a very special presentation for them. And when it comes to masterminds, I do the exact same thing. What are some words that keep getting used? What are some acronyms? What's the mission? If I can infuse that into the presentation, again, it makes you look like you did your homework. And it just makes it even more special and memorable. That's the big thing about doing this. It makes the speech memorable. It's not a canned speech that you're using over and over again. It is a memorable speech for the audience. Remember, it's not about you. It is about the audience. But this is why I teach people how to write a speech in blocks so that it's easy to customize. Before I get on to my special offering, I just want to share with you, just like summarize this. Tip 1 was understanding your audience's needs and their desires. Tip number 2 was tailoring your message to resonate with their pain points. And tip number 3 in knowing your audience is researching your audience to anticipate their questions, to anticipate their needs, just to anticipate some of those stories that you can infuse into your presentation. This is stuff that I've done over and over again when it was part of my practice as a professional speaker. Whenever I got hired by a company, a corporate event, a big event, I'll call it, these were things that I practiced over and over again. And the people who you end up interviewing before you actually give your presentation are really going to love it that they were actually part of your presentation. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking of one where I spoke for the logistics company, and I can literally picture the 3 out of the 5 people that I spoke with that made such an impression because they're still on my email list. They still follow me on social media, and they're just a special part of my community. And that's just one of the events that I have spoken for. And now here I am from the professional world of, speaking in the leadership industry. And now I'm over here helping you, coaches, consultants, small business owners, to leverage speaking opportunities to grow your business. If you're tired of putting speaking to the right audiences on the back burner and you're ready to earn 10K the next time you're on the in-person or virtual stage, then book a call with me. And during this call, I'm going to ask you some questions about your business, your visibility, and your future goals. With that information, I'll be able to share with you the programs or the different ways to work with me that would best suit your needs. This is no pressure to say yes, by the way. My offers range from a 1-hour consult all the way up to 6 months of a high-touch coaching program to group programs. My clients routinely step off the stage to more clients, sales calls already being booked before you even step off the stage, and future stage appearances while working less for each of these prospects by leveraging speaking events as your best form of marketing. After all, you've heard me say this, speaking is the fastest way to grow your business. Link to book a call with me will be down below, but you can also go to speakandstandout.com/discovery. And I will look forward to hearing from you because remember, you can always send me a DM either on LinkedIn or Instagram, and let's continue this conversation. You know that I am always open to hearing your wins and also your questions. So till next week, be in demand.